Hey guys, what's up? It's Lexi here, and today we are looking at another one of Bale's SpongeBob theories. This is number 5, the Neptune theory. Now, as you may have seen already, if you haven't already watched the rest of them that I did, I highly recommend you going to check them out. And along with other people that have reacted to these SpongeBob theories, they're all really amazing. And I think I've only gotten up to the 4th one, but like for the first 4, it's been a long time since I've seen them. So that's why I reacted to them now. We're like onto the part that I've never seen before. So I'm very, very excited. I have no idea what's in store. I'm very, very intrigued by these series because watching SpongeBob as an adult, it gives you a whole different dynamic of a lot of things, and it really makes you think, especially if you're someone like me that has a very creative mind, and especially with my mind personally, it's kind of like, okay, the writers were very creative on this. There's like some stuff there's like so deep into, and there's so much more into other things. So, and they never really confirm anything, which is the funniest part about it. They never confirm any of it. So I'm very, very intrigued to see what this whole Neptune theory is about, but I have an overall idea a little bit of it, of where it could possibly go. But if you want to check out full unedited reactions first and get early access, to go ahead and jump on my Patreon to support me directly. It's where all my full reactions will be going unedited first before it jumps onto YouTube. And if you do support me, you'll be supporting me directly. You can become a free member. All my stuff is available for free members, and if you change your mind later down the road, memberships are there. It's cheap, it's affordable, and it would really help me not only to get across the platform here, but also support me directly if you guys like these type of videos, especially because of YouTube algorithm and copyright reasons. I have to do that. So go ahead and support me on Patreon. That will be very lovely if you support me on here. If you want to support me here on YouTube, then go ahead and hit that like button, and also if you like videos like these, and commenting down below will also help as well, along with subscribing to my channel, hitting the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And when you subscribe, don't forget to hit that bell to get notified for when I post new videos, so you guys don't miss when I post anything. So without further ado, baby, let's go.
So the continuity with King Neptune is a bit of a mess. There are 2 different King Neptunes. There's a King Poseidon. There's 3 different royal palaces. 2 of them are called the City of Atlantis, but there's also a 3rd unrelated City of Atlantis. It's confusing to say the least. But there is actually a way to explain how all of this is intentional and connects together. This is a story of power, deception, and betrayal. This is the Neptune theory.
Alright, I'm interested. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
That was probably nothing.
What is happening?
There's no tension. The pacing is slow.
Oh,
It fundamentally
he must have been
fails as a
debating
film.
about
Alex, go back to making SpongeBob
whether or
theory
not
videos.
he should make more
no
theories.
one wants
Yeah.
to see your awful
Okay.
horror films. I've been your host, the one and only cynical critic, and remember to stay cynical.
Just an cynical critic. Okay. Number 5, baby.
And we're back! What's up? I'm your host Alex, the SpongeBob guy, back with another SpongeBob conspiracy. I've said it before,
Let's go,
but
baby.
the overwhelming support for these videos is insane. So, I'd be stupid not to make more. I mean, everyone loves them, right?
Hello, fellow truth seekers. It's Conspiracy Carl here. Welcome back to the Awakening.
Not Conspiracy
I have been
Carl.
awakened myself to the immense lies of this person right here. This liar, Alex Bale.
Well, almost everyone. So I showed a bit of this conspiracy guy's reaction in my last video, and apparently he didn't like that, so now he's claiming that I'm part of some giant Illuminati conspiracy.
Somebody looks like
What?
they're a puppet for the Illuminati. Yes, you, sir, have been inserting secret messages into your videos. Evil lurks there, people.
It's honestly really funny. You should check him out. Now, on to the theory.
Let's go. I'm so intrigued. I've never seen this before.
King Neptune
like the
is the
rest.
ruler of the seven seas and the Roman god of the ocean. If you watch my evolution theory, you know there's also a good chance he's the reason why fish in
Yep.
Bikini Bottom are so evolved and able
Yep.
to talk. He lives in
That
the
was
city
a
of
very good
Atlantis with his
theory.
wife Queen Amphitrite and his son Triton. But in the first SpongeBob movie, he's
He
replaced
has
by
a
a
son?
completely different King Neptune who has a completely different daughter named Mindy. These guys don't look or sound at all the same, so how can they both exist
Exactly.
in this universe?
Okay, I had to pause just for a quick second because I know there's a lot more of this video to go, but the only thing that I'm thinking right now is that maybe it has always quite puzzled me on the reason why like I heard over the years that there was more than one version of Neptune, especially between the show and the movie. I don't know why honestly they did that, and I don't know if it's just because the writers or everybody involved in making SpongeBob just wanted to, for some reason, make a different Neptune version. Like, why did they constantly change his design up so much over time? I don't really get that, or if there's some alternate universe going on. I mean, I know there is Poseidon, and I know that there's probably like, from what I recall, there was like this whole Poseidon versus Neptune sort of deal. So I don't know if there's like some alternate universe going on here. I don't know. I always thought that was odd. I mean, it could just simply be for Neptune that they just decided to, for some reason, oddly create two different Neptunes, which cartoon-wise doesn't make sense because the original version in the movie, or at least not in the movie, but the one that we see in the show, early on in the show, was absolutely perfect. So I have no idea why they changed that, but anyways, let's continue.
Well, there's already an interesting theory out there about this. It's widely
Is
believed
there?
that the SpongeBob movie takes place in the future after the events of the show. So widely believed that I got
Right.
hundreds of comments about it in my Mrs. Puff theory. Yep, I know guys, I heard what you said. The creator of SpongeBob, Steven Hillenburg, said he wanted to end the series with the movie, and it being canonically at the end of the SpongeBob timeline would explain why we never see the Krusty Krab 2, or any of the other characters from the movie in the
that
later
makes so much
SpongeBob episodes.
sense!
And some people believe that the reason why movie Neptune is so different is because he's actually Neptune's son, Triton, all grown up. And that's a pretty cool
What?
theory, but I don't buy it. Other than Triton looking nothing like movie Neptune, I've never actually believed that the SpongeBob movie takes place in the future, despite there being many people who commented about it on my
So,
Mrs. Puff theory as if it was a proven fact.
what the
There's
heck do you
never
think
actually
then?
been any official confirmation of it. Steven Hillenburg only said that he wanted to stop making SpongeBob after the movie. He never said anything about where the movie actually takes place in the timeline of the show. And we do actually briefly see Neptune's daughter Mindy show up later in the show in SpongeBob's Big Birthday Blowout. There's no way she'd be there unless the show took place after the events of the movie. I think what's actually going on here with Neptune is something much more interesting, and it ties directly in with the television theory. If you haven't seen that video,
Okay,
it basically
where's
proves
this
that the
going?
entire
Where's
show,
this gonna go?
SpongeBob SquarePants, is actually a nature documentary being filmed by scuba divers, and many of the elements we see throughout the series are secretly set up by the showrunners to make sure that the show is more entertaining and profitable. And this applies
Yep.
to the SpongeBob movie as well. There's promotional art and even a commercial that acknowledges the fact that it's just a movie being filmed.
Yep, I remember that one.
SpongeBob, what kind of jellyfish is that?
Hey guys, it's Carlos from the Zone. Can you tell us about
Kind
your
of
latest adventure?
jellyfish.
Well, this one adventure we had was a real Lulu.
You mean when we went after Neptune's
Lulu?
crown? It seemed bigger than our usual adventures.
Yes, and with fewer interruptions.
Well, thanks guys. We'll see you in the movie.
Movie? What's that?
I don't know.
I think the real reason why
Wait!
Neptune looks so different in the movie is because the filmmakers couldn't get the real King Neptune, the literal god of the sea, to show up for a movie. So they hired an actor
Right.
to pretend to be the king. And there is actually a ton of evidence in the show to support this.
Oh, that's
King
right, there's
Neptune is
that
supposed to
episode where
live in
he
the
was
great
King
city of
Neptune,
Atlantis.
that's
But in the
right.
movie, he just lives in some random sandcastle, almost like they just built a discount version for the movie. But the real evidence comes from season 10, episode 18, Lost and Found, where SpongeBob goes beneath
Okay.
the Krusty Krab to look for something in the Lost and Found. As he searches through this
I never went this far
surprisingly
on the
massive
show.
collection of items, on one of the shelves, we see something mind-blowing. The crown worn by King Neptune in the SpongeBob movie. The
What?
entire plot of the movie hinges on the fact that Neptune thinks Mr. Krabs
The
stole his
crown
crown.
gets
Why would Mr.
stolen,
Krabs have this
yeah.
now? Because this isn't just the Krusty Krabs Lost and Found. It's also where they store the props used by the SpongeBob SquarePants filmmakers to create the SpongeBob movie. If you remember from my television theory, Mr. Krabs is secretly working for the showrunners to spy on all the main characters. And his secret surveillance room is hidden beneath the Krusty Krab, just like this Lost and Found. So it makes perfect sense for the showrunners to hide their props down here. And if you still don't believe me, we also see SpongeBob's guitar, the Goofy Goober peanut hats, and the magical bag of wind. All items from the movie that would make no sense being down here unless this was the showrunner's prop storage, and the movie King Neptune was just an actor. Well, that's one Neptune down. Now for the real mystery, King Poseidon.
King Poseidon? Okay.
In the third SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, the King of the Sea is yet again replaced by a new character, King Poseidon, the Greek god of the ocean. He actually does live in the city of Atlantis, except instead of the ancient royal architecture, it's a giant casino designed to make money. It'd be easy to say that these are just two separate kings that rule different areas of the sea, but they both claim to be the ruler of the seven seas. So how can two different characters both be the king of the same seven seas? The answer to that question actually has to do with a place called Camp Coral. Throughout the third SpongeBob movie, we keep cutting back to flashbacks of a younger SpongeBob and all the other characters when they all went to summer camp together. This was all to set up a spin-off show called Camp Coral that followed these younger characters. Now characters younger to appeal to a younger demographic. It's been done before and it's never very good. They also completely contradict the continuity of the main show by having characters like Sandy and SpongeBob meet as kids when we know they actually met as adults in the main show. Look, I am having a hard enough time figuring out this show's continuity on its own. I do not need another show full of contradictions to make it even harder. But the creators actually did something very clever to make the continuity work. The 7th episode of Camp Coral ends with one of the biggest plot twists I've ever seen from this show. So in this episode, SpongeBob actually discovers the Krabby Patty secret formula way before it was supposed to be created by Mr. Krabs. But at the end of the episode, it gets accidentally destroyed by Sandy, and then we get this mind-blowing scene.
Always been.
So Sandy used time travel to send her past self to Camp Coral so that she could make sure the Krabby Patty formula didn't get discovered before it was supposed to. They actually figured out a way to make this messed up continuity make sense. Don't you dare tell me this show doesn't care about its continuity. Can I also just say that this scene lines up perfectly with my television theory? A major part of that theory is that Sandy is actually a spy working for the showrunners and is secretly making sure everything stays on track. And then what do we see a month after I post my theory? Sandy secretly manipulating everyone to keep the show on track. Just gonna give myself a little pat on the back there. But enough gloating. What does any of this have to do with King Poseidon? Well, this proves that Camp Coral and the movie that sets it up are in an alternate timeline. The events that have taken place in the show are not the same events in this movie. The continuity errors like Sandy and SpongeBob meeting, or Poseidon being the king of the sea instead of Neptune, can be explained by this shift in the timeline. So there you go. King Poseidon and King Neptune are from completely separate timelines. That's why we never see any reference to King Poseidon in the show. And that is the Neptune theory. Huh. I mean, that wasn't so hard. I guess I'm done here.
He's not.
Neptune
He's not
stirred
done.
up
There's
quite
no
a gale tonight. He must be mad about something.
That's silly. Everyone knows Poseidon is ruler of the undersea. Everyone knows Poseidon is ruler of the undersea.
Why can't anything ever be easy?
Okay, so
This
like
is the clip
Neptune
that really made me decide
here.
to make this theory. The beginning of Season 5, Episode 19, Spongehenge, shows two fish arguing over whether Neptune or Poseidon is the real ruler of the sea. It's like the creators are directly telling us that both of these characters somehow exist in the same timeline, and it's our job to figure out how the puzzle pieces fit together. So, let's take a look. Despite both of these characters having similar appearances and personalities, there is one very important difference between them. Poseidon doesn't have power. We've seen many times that King Neptune has magical abilities that he can use at any time, even without his trident. But in the entire third SpongeBob movie, we never see Poseidon use any powers or magical abilities, except for lighting up his trident, but all he has to do for that is just flip a switch. And we know from the episode Trident Trouble that you don't even need to be a god to use the trident. And at the end of the third movie, we find out Poseidon is actually in terrible shape. If you remember at the end of the episode Neptune's Spatula, Neptune briefly turned SpongeBob into a god. And we can see that having god powers gives you a perfect body. So why is Poseidon in such
right!
terrible shape? Because he doesn't actually have powers, only Neptune does. Even Neptune's wife, Queen Amphitrite, has to use technology to zap someone, unlike Neptune, who only has to use his finger in the exact same episode. He is clearly the only one with powers, but why? To answer this question, we first have to understand the origins of King Neptune. Now, throughout the show, there is very little information on Neptune's past. I read the Wikipedia, I looked through the comic books, the video games, but I just couldn't find anything that would help me. But then I remembered there are SpongeBob shorts, which are like mini episodes that only air once, usually to promote something. So I started looking to see if there were any that could help us, and lo and behold, there is a SpongeBob short called The Story of King Neptune. Huh. Yeah, I guess that could be helpful. This short is about SpongeBob telling Patrick the origins of King Neptune, but it's not entirely clear whether it's true.
The story of King Neptune. When King Neptune was a little Neptune, his mother set him adrift in a river. As he floated along, a radioactive meteor fell to Earth. An alien appeared and anointed the infant with super Neptune fluid.
Is that really the origin of King Neptune?
Sure.
So King Neptune was abandoned as a baby and then given his powers by aliens. But SpongeBob is holding an upside-down comic book, so it feels a lot like something he just made up. And SpongeBob is not the most reliable narrator. Unless there's something in the story that we can definitively prove, I don't think we can use it for a theory. Like, do you really expect me to believe that Neptune got his powers from aliens? I mean, we've never even seen aliens in the show before.
I don't believe that at all.
Except, we have. And they just so happen to also live in a city called Atlantis.
Oh my god, I forgot
Season
about
5,
this!
Episode 12, Atlantis Square Atlantis. We see another completely different Atlantis, the lost city of Atlantis. A city that's home to a race of aliens. The Atlantean aliens traveled billions of light years to come to this planet and build their city.
For reasons unknown, this great city disappeared one day, but no ruins were ever found. All the inventions you take for granted were given to us by the Atlanteans.
They were a peaceful race of aliens who shared their technology, but then mysteriously disappeared for some reason. And take a guess what we find when we look inside of that city. A massive sculpture of King Neptune. That story about aliens giving Neptune his powers doesn't sound so far-fetched now, does it? And that's not all we find.
Neptune's Ascension, the only surviving painting from the great lost city of Atlantis.
A painting created by the Atlanteans called Neptune's Ascension, aka Neptune ascending to his god status by being given powers by the Atlantean aliens. The story is definitely referencing this. There are too many connections for this to be a coincidence. So even though it's being told by SpongeBob, and details like the aliens' appearance are wrong, the story itself is probably based on truth. And there's also a lot of evidence to support the idea that Neptune was abandoned as a baby. In Clash of Triton, Neptune is watching a soap opera in his bedroom and gets upset when his wife turns it off.
Oh, Neptune, surely this isn't the behavior befitting a king, doing nothing but watching daytime television.
Wait! Rochelle was just about to meet her biological parents.
In the soap opera, Rochelle was just about to meet her biological parents. Maybe the real reason why Neptune's so invested in the soap opera is because he's never met his biological parents either. There's even tissues on the table next to him as if he's been crying. And the idea that Neptune was abandoned as a baby works perfectly with the mythology in the show. Neptune is the Roman god of the sea, but he is the only reference to Roman mythology in the show. Everything else we see is from Greek mythology. In the episode Trident Trouble, we see a Greek chorus.
Behold, we are the Greek chorus. We narrate
this
happy tale.
Neptune once mentioned Zeus, the Greek god of thunder.
So I say Zeus, either you come up with more money, or Neptune walks.
He also mentions Apollo, the Greek god of the sun.
Now, behold,
right, I know about the Greek
my
mythology, yes.
home of Atlantis. A prize worthy of Apollo.
Even in the city of Atlantis where Neptune lives, there's a building named the Poseidon, clearly named after Poseidon. So Neptune is clearly the outsider here, which is why he was abandoned as a baby. But if the sea is actually ruled by Greek mythology, then Poseidon should be the true heir to the throne. Why is Neptune the king in the show? Because after Neptune was given his god powers by aliens, he returned to Atlantis and stole the throne from Poseidon. This would explain why there's so much confusion over who the real king is.
Neptune stirred up quite a gale tonight.
Everyone knows Poseidon is ruler of the undersea.
Legally, Poseidon should be the king, but Neptune took it by force. And that's not all he took from Poseidon. Neptune's wife, Queen Amphitrite, is the goddess of the sea. The Greek goddess of the sea, aka the wife of Poseidon. God damn, Neptune stole his wife and his throne. That is cold. And eventually, everyone did recognize Neptune as the rightful king. The pink fish who seemed adamant about Poseidon being the king completely changes her mind one season later in Clash of Triton.
Oh, wait a minute, King Neptune is coming here? Oh, I'm a huge fan of the royal family. I just
sure, lady.
And that is the real story of King Neptune. The reason why Poseidon is king in the third movie is probably because in that timeline, Neptune was never given his god powers, so he never stole the throne from Poseidon. Although, seeing as how Poseidon turned Atlantis into a big casino cash grab city, maybe it's a good thing Neptune took over.
The lost city of Atlantic City.
And that is the Neptune theory. That was a tough one, but we are finally done.
I really
See you
like
next time, guys.
The last thing that I will say overall before we reach the end is that this is so wild. I mean, I knew partially what I would be getting into with the Neptune theory, but with the way that like watching these types of theories, especially Alex Bale's theories, SpongeBob theories, makes you think. It makes you have a whole entire different depth of the show, and it really makes you think what in the heck they were thinking making this show. I mean, knowing that the original creator, may he rest in peace, wanted to stop after the first movie makes complete sense. I'm not going to say anything bad now. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to say anything about the show nowadays because I don't keep up with the newer episodes. I would just plain out to say that. I don't keep up with new SpongeBob. But I am quite literally speechless because I kind of always wondered over the years about Neptune, like where the heck he suddenly came from, because he just suddenly pops up and he's like this ruler. But once I gotten older and I grew up and I realized that there was, you know, with mythology, there's Poseidon, it's like, who the heck is the real ruler here, and why in the heck is Neptune taking on the role of Poseidon? With how they portray Poseidon in the show, it kind of makes a lot of sense that Neptune basically stole everything, basically, and including power-wise, and it has powers and all that yada yada. But it's very interesting. It really makes your head spin. I really love watching these, and I don't know how different mine reactions are going to be to anybody else's, but I really just wanted to point it out before the end, at least, that these are my final thoughts, and I absolutely love it. I think there may be a couple of more, I'm not sure. I know he posted one for mini theories that was really long. It's like over an hour long, so I'm not really sure exactly how I would do that except to break it up in parts probably. But I'm definitely going to be doing, like, I think there may be 8 of them at least, or whatever, or at least the main ones I will at least do. But I really love this. This really makes you think, and it kind of like paints like a whole different like conspiracy kind of esque with asking so many questions. So I really love that. Anyways, let's finish this video. That's not it though.
Wait, why is Poseidon City called the Lost City of Atlantic City?
The Lost City of Atlantic City.
I mean, the Atlantic City Park makes sense. That's a reference to the real-life Atlantic City, but why is it called the Lost City? There is nothing lost about the city. It seems like everyone's easily able to find it.
Unless something
the only other
happened
reference to
that
a lost
made it
city of
lost.
Atlantis is the one with the aliens that gave Neptune his powers. Nope, I don't care. I'm done with this theory. I don't need to answer every single little question. I am 100% done.
You're 100% done, and it goes on to the next part. Okay, this
One more
is
quick
so
part, just
far-fetched.
to tie up all the loose ends, and then I am done. Alright, here we go. So we know before the Atlantean aliens mysteriously disappeared, they shared their technology with the creatures of the sea. I think the self-proclaimed gods of the sea got their technology, like tridents and their other weapons, from the Atlantean aliens. In fact, the Atlantean guards even use golden tridents as their weapons. That's why the gods named their city Atlantis, to pay tribute to the Atlanteans that gave them their technology. But all of that changed when Poseidon became king of the sea. He betrayed the Atlanteans and used their own weapons against them to conquer their home and turn it into a casino city. That's why Poseidon City is called the Lost City, even though it's not lost. It's referencing the Atlantean city that was conquered by Poseidon. And the reason why the Atlanteans gave god powers to some random abandoned baby in the main timeline was so that Neptune could take the throne from Poseidon and prevent him from conquering the alien city. And the reason why the Atlantean city mysteriously disappeared was because they hid it so no one could ever try and conquer them again. And that is the Neptune theory.
Wow!
I am done.
That was so wild!
Okay, that's another one done. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your
Yay,
host,
these
Alex.
series
We've got
are
more
so,
on the way.
so,
I'll see you next
good.
time.
I have loved every single one I've watched so far. I think there's only a couple
Hey,
left.
listen, that theory was awesome. You know, I don't know how you keep coming up with these, but I mean, they're great.
I mean, he does a lot of hard work for these. I mean, nobody
And
realizes
listen,
how
you were
much
totally
research
right.
it
You know,
takes.
the people want SpongeBob theories, so who am I to ignore them? So, thank you.
Thank you, Alex. This also
hello?
proves a little bit of his
Got the
film
meat
stuff
for ya.
that he can do.
Alright, listen. If we're gonna work on this, then we need to work on our communication skills, because this creepy quiet act, it's getting old.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay. Don't. Okay. What is that gonna do? I am so lost. What is happening here? SpongeBob conspiracy. Number 6! I will definitely eventually get to that too. Like I said, I think there's only like a couple left. Maybe. Wow. Dude. I will say, I have loved every single one of these so far. They're like so good. And it really makes you think.
Why are you on
Like,
my
he
ceiling?
really thought he was gonna go away.
My boy, you have done well. But if we are to continue our work, I will require something more.
Okay, that was very creepy. Wow, great job, Alex. Bale. Another excellent theory. Yeah, man, this is so freaking good, and I hope you enjoy it. If you have not watched my previous ones, please go back and watch them. They are excellent. Great job, Alex.